In the modern world, we are making advancements in society every day. Developing countries do not have access to the resources that we have because they have not developed the ability to extract the resources, to make the resources. Countries that have industrialized themselves are now doing much better than those who are still developing. In the United States, we have clean fresh water on whim, at the flip of a handle or twist of a dial. Marcus Samuelsson said that clean water and access to food are some of the simplest things that we can take for granted each day. In places like Africa, there can be some of the hardest resources to attain if you live in a rural area. We have, by prioritizing resources over the environment, we are able to ensure a comfortable life for most people in America. We put the needs of the people ahead of the needs of the environment, and we advanced to ensure everyone didn't have to worry about basic needs like food and water. WorldBank.org describes a developing country as one in which the majority on far less money with far fewer basic public services than the population in highly industrialized countries. 5 million of the world's 6 billion people live in developing countries where incomes are usually under $2 per day. Some of these countries include Iran, Pakistan, Brazil, and Kenya. IAWP, developing countries, listing for reduced membership fees. Even though Iran is the second largest producer of oil in the Middle East, second only to Saudi Arabia, it's still developing. And oil is one of the most valuable resources, but since they have not industrialized and made their wealth open to the public, it is still considered developing. And that's one of the major advantages that the modern world has, is that they have industrialized. The U.S. has industrialized back in the 1800s, or 1600s, 16 to 1800s, sorry. And now they go around and help the entire world. The U.S. budget for foreign aid in 2016 is $37.9 billion, foreign assistance of. England, on the other hand, another well-off industrialized country, spends only 11.4 billion pounds, significantly less than what America spends. Now, I'm not saying what America does isn't good. I'm saying that these countries should be able to eventually develop and sustain themselves. A developing country is like a child. It is aided and cared for by another more stable power, but eventually they should be left on their own and be able to contribute to their own society as well as the rest of the humanity society, and they would no longer need foreign aid. Martin Yon said that some people never contribute anything to society. They may even drain our resources, but most of us try to do better, to give back. But what if we didn't have to give back? What if nobody needed the help anymore? We could use this extra $37.9 billion to help our own needs. We've had previous speeches in this class talking about the need for more money, more education. And think about what all that extra money could do for us. We could use the money to help that we used to help other countries to help ourselves in another way. An advancement that the United States has as a result of its technological growth is in medicine. There are 195 countries in the world atlas, or 196 if you include Taiwan. The US doesn't recognize it as an actual country. However, only 140 have access to great medical devices that we've developed. And those that do often lack the power to optimize their full function. Not only do they lack the resources to make medical advancements or to even use the medical, but they also lack the knowledge. In Africa, when someone would get sick with Ebola, the entire family would go into that same room with the person and pray over the sick person, while blood would spew everywhere and they would get infected. They often figured when the doctors would come in wearing full hazmat suits, they were trying to spread the disease because they didn't trust the outsiders. Now, if they were to develop and industrialize, they would also gain knowledge, just because as technology improves, so does the information. And then with that, they would be able to improve their lives and the standard of living. And what fuels all of this development is energy. Countries that need to develop their resources to get energy and power. Technology is fueled by so much, it's very dependent for everyone. And many of the technologies that work to save lives do not function without it. From Global Forum to improve developing countries' access to medical devices. In 2012, the United States consumed 95 quadrillion British thermal units, which is a unit of energy. And we are able to produce this unbelievable amount of energy because we've developed and we've extracted resources, and we've been able to, because we were able to extract all these resources, we have now been able to make life comfortable for all of us. And now we are able to worry about preserving the environment because we've been able to because we are able to develop. Now we can worry about making sustainable resources. Thanks. So 1 minute rebuttal.
All right, 1 minute rebuttal. Now, Ella gets to rebut the position that Jackie gives.
Okay, so to start out, this was kind of like a hiccup in your speaking where you said that resource extraction that's unregulated would make a comfortable life for everyone in America. And you probably meant in the countries where the resources are being extracted, but I thought that was really telling. Because the only time when you would want unregulated resource extraction without any attention being paid to the environment is when it's not where you're living. Like, this unregulated extraction would only benefit countries that do have a hand in developing countries' economies, where you're getting some kind of benefit for yourself. These countries can't begin to stand on their own if more developed countries use them for the resources and leave them without any sort of environment. We're talking about how America is already developed and now we're allowed to worry about the environment and how everyone should follow in our footsteps. And I feel like we're a really good example of how that doesn't work because our environment is in shambles. We have incredible amounts of like CO2 emissions and there's so much wealth inequality. It's incredible, and I don't think that other countries should really like try to model themselves after us, especially since there's such a disparity in like the technological advancements that like you can advance something so much and then the rest of the population will be playing catch up the entire time. What am I saying? They would be playing. That's a minute? Okay.
Oh, yes, a little over.
All right. Pollution is nothing but the resources we are harvesting, or the resources we are not harvesting. We allow them to disperse because we've ignored their value. Robert Buckminster Fuller. We have, now that we're developed, we are able to recycle wastes that we've produced. There's been, and we've been able to locate other ways to make more sustainable fuel sources. We should be able to share our resources with the other countries that are developing. You said that humans have the greatest impact on Earth, and that's true, but also we're the only ones who are really sentient, and we realize that we are in fact affecting the environment when we do that. The ability to, once we have the ability to live a comfortable, normal life, then we can worry about the environment. But until that point, we should be trying to help the other countries expand their economy, society, and technological advancements. I believe that we should be, by reducing our foreign aid, we should also try to pull back our outside influences on those countries. So that way, they don't feel pressure to keep on making Nike shoes or Apple iPhones or something along the sort of that. This was a lot harder than I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
30 seconds, please.
30
Oh,
seconds?
30, you got a 30-second to restate your argument that you want to advance and what you want.
Oh, okay.
How you want to argue? So what you want us to argue? How you want to end the debate? What's your
Okay.
conclusion?
My side is not arguing for no resource extraction, it's only arguing for resource extraction that doesn't harm the environment of the country that would be having those resources extracted. I don't want no economic growth in these countries. I just want economic growth that is sustainable for the people that live in it and is able to carry them forward without bringing them down in the future and leaving their children with nothing to use for economic growth or prosperity. Yeah.
We should be able to use our resources to help those that can't help themselves. And the countries that they need a kickstart. They should be able to use the resources that may not be renewable, but to get moving, and then they can start working towards development. And once they have secured basic resources like food, water, and power, then they can worry about making sure their environment is sustained.
We're done.
That's the end.